Why dopamine is making you unhappy. It's built to make you happy, to excite you, to fulfill you, to motivate you with little wins towards your ultimate goals. That's what it's there for. That's what it's created for. However, dopamine is no longer used solely for that. It's now used to numb and addict you and to pull you away from your greater purpose, to one of consumption, to one of numbing, and to one of a lack of fulfillment. Dopamine was once something that would produce once you're working towards something that means a lot to you, that's important to you and that you care about. Perhaps something challenging. You'd have to exercise, you'd have to work on something, you'd have to practice something that means something to you, complete a task or goal, see someone that you care for, laugh, have relationship, even woo someone. I don't know who uses that word anymore, but woo someone, date them, seek them out. These are things that at least take some sort of effort, and dopamine was the payoff. The definition states that dopamine is used to drive goal-directed behavior by reinforcing actions that lead to rewards. However, what happens when we get that dopamine reward instantly, without having to do anything? What happens to us? That's exactly what's happened in society today. Now, dopamine is readily available. It's actually lost what made it special. What you worked for, what you tried for, that reward payoff is now just given to you. It's like eating your favorite food every day. Eventually you get sick of it. That's just what happens. It's lost what made it special. Cheap dopamine is now nearly everywhere we turn in most parts of our life. We have highly processed foods, laced with sugar, laced with colors and flavorings and things to make you want to keep coming back, make you wanting to eat even excess to the size of your stomach. You have your phone in your pocket, which is an actual computer now, that you can access the internet and anything on the internet at any point in time. It's ready to give you more of a dopamine boost than maybe we'd gotten for hundreds of years. The amount of dopamine that you receive just by turning it on is numbing us to that now. It gives you a dopamine boost quicker than anything else. You have pornography, which is only one click away, which you can feel desired or sexually important, if that's a phrase, just by turning on your phone and without having to interact with a single human being. This sort of level of action, this little sort of level of dopamine that is readily available to you leads to addiction and can lead to depression, can lead to isolation, and can make you very unhappy. This can all lead to addiction and can escalate very quickly. Ultimately, the access to cheap dopamine is leaving you unfulfilled, and it's leading you away from what you're really truly meant to be doing, from your full potential, from the things that actually matter to you in your life. It's removing the true meaning and purpose for your life. Sex, joy, laughter, entertainment, fulfillment, relationship. This cheap dopamine fix takes away from all of that. It removes from your bucket. It does not fill. All these things are now sullied and cheapened by the reliance on this cheap imitation that we have with us at all times, that is now pushed in society. I'm sure you've heard from social media that these companies want you addicted because you could spend more, so you could imbibe more. And they are designed to keep you on there as long as possible. Seeking out and relying on this cheap dopamine leads to unrealistic expectations of sex and sexual partners. Pornography has literally been shown to warp minds, particularly young people who are now watching it far younger than ever before. It can literally change their brainwaves, it can change their thinking patterns, and it can easily lead them to addiction. Pornography addiction is incredibly common, and more so for younger and younger people. But it also messes with your expectations in relationships, how to view the other person, how to view your partner, how to view sex, how to view relationships. which can either lead to unhealthy relationships, or if addiction is just taking root there, it can lead you further away from ever getting a relationship. Because again, you get to have that feeling at any point in time without actually having to talk to anyone, without actually having to be rejected, without actually having to build something with someone that you care about. Addiction on all fronts. To be honest, why or how couldn't you be addicted easily on almost all of these things when the thing that you're seeking is just given to you? When the reward and pleasure center of your brain is going off with free dopamine, cheap dopamine, readily available dopamine, just by having so much access to these things. You can get exactly what you want when you want it. Unfortunately, it's just the cheap imitation version, but your brain doesn't really know the difference. Loneliness. People are the loneliest they've ever been, whilst also being the most connected, potentially. Technically, you're more connected than you've ever been, but people are the loneliest. And it's because we also have cheap connection. You don't have to talk to your friends on the phone. You don't have to go see them. You don't have to do anything. You just send them a meme. It kind of feels like not even 1%, but it's something towards, hey, thinking about you, kind of, I guess. But this cheap connection comes at a loss of true connection, as it takes reliance away from actually making a friend, actually having a relationship, seeking someone out, having conversation, having real conversation, ups and downs, disagreements, laughter, everything like that. It takes away that time for our relationships with other people and the time we spend on our passions too, the things that truly matter to us, because we don't have to work for a payoff. It's just given. Depression and anxiety. This also ties into loneliness, because when we start becoming more reliant, when we start becoming more addicted to whatever these things are, whatever this cheap dopamine hit is, it means that we end up seeking that out before anything else. Sometimes before we drink water or eat food or even get out of bed. It's just there if we want it to be. We are given it freely, as much as you could possibly want. And people are sad. People are very depressed nowadays, even with this dopamine fix. They are fed outrage. They are fed hate. They are fed treating your fellow man like dirt. They are encouraged to not act as a good person, depending on what you're imbibing. They are also told or shown, or things are glamorized that do hurt them. The thing is, your experience of the world, the true experience of the world, the beauty of the world is being cheapened because it can be, because it's addicting, because you could pay more. But ultimately, it comes at the cost of your health. It comes at the cost of your relationships. It comes at the cost of the view of yourself and of what you really want to be doing with your life. You don't want to scroll all day. Porn is empty. It's all those sorts of things that are holding you back, that are hurting you, that are just chipping away at you every day. Your attention span goes down, and naturally, it's even easier to pick up your phone. It's even easier to seek out ABCDE. And then you're in the same position or a worse position. When we start seeking out this addiction of dopamine, and we start becoming sadder and less fulfilled, this has a flow-on effect in our lives. We start neglecting parts of our lives. We start feeling low about ourselves. We start feeling more discouraged. You lose confidence and potentially step back in areas of your life that you were progressing, which then leads us to want to numb the pain. And how do we numb the pain? How do we feel good instantly? I hope that comes through. Sorry, I won't do that too many times. I hope that comes through though. This recording device sometimes messes up that stuff. Anyway, neglect of other facets of life. I touched on this just before, but the things that you're working on, it's easy to backslide on them now. Why practice this instrument that you've always cared about doesn't feel as good anymore? There's other things that feel better. There's other things that I could be doing with my time, and I get an instant reward. I may not get better noticeably every day, But I know that I feel good when I do that. It takes away from these things. We start neglecting stuff that actually carries meaning in our lives. Why practice your instrument? Why work out? Why date? Why do anything that requires work or effort when you can feel really good and not have to do anything to get that? The thing is, a lot of the time, value, that feeling like we value something, actually comes from what it took to get there, what it took for that to happen, the work that it took to progress. You look at people that are insanely successful, even in the toughest time of their lives, they really value what they have because they know what it took to get there. And which is why, if you look at people like lottery winners, an overwhelming number of lottery winners go broke because they were just given the money. They lucked out. They were given it. They were given an insane amount of money, and all they had to do was buy a $2 ticket, and they were given it, and they blew it all. 9 times out of 10, they don't know how to value something that they didn't work for. Whereas people who have worked hard, they value it. They actually did the steps that it took for it to have meaning. And when things don't have meaning, they don't carry weight. It's special because it took some work. It's special because it took work, because it took effort, because it required effort, focus, drive, growth, etc. But when we just get what we want with no effort, it can be hard to value it and even easier to take it for granted. I realize the YouTubey clickbaity title of dopamine is making you sad or unhappy. But it is the truth. Because we face a unique situation today that we've never really had before, it's something that we've got to navigate. Maybe this isn't progress. It's become more convenient, easier, faster, etc. However, it's actually taking away from our lives. And when it comes down to it, corporations and people building these things, that can be the point. Some would have noble intentions, I'm sure, but some want to make money. And I get that. But at what cost? It's costing you family. It's costing you intimacy. If you are looking at porn constantly and then you try and be available for your wife, you may not seek her out. You may not find her as attractive anymore. You may not want to be with them as much. This is the sort of thing that happens in relationships. I've talked to a ridiculous amount of clients from 5 years old to 70 something. And this is what happens. And I'm sure there's some people who hear this and they go, yeah, like I see that. That's happened to me. Like those people who resonate with this. And ultimately, it's about valuing what's really important to you. Your relationship is more important than feeling good for a second. Your relationship is more important than just the cheap payoff. Your relationship is more important than that. Your passions, your focus, your drive is more important than that. More important than being distracted. Use it to enhance things. Use it to pull you closer to where you want to go. To build your business, to learn communication skills, to learn instruments, to become better at those things that you care about, that you want to do. But if we start using it to numb or to distract us from our daily lives deteriorate. Naturally, we can't pretend, if there's a fire in the corner of my house, I'm not going to just turn away and scroll because I'm uncomfortable about what's going on. I could, but I'm not going to be in great stead for that. I'm not going to neglect my leg that's broken because the rest of me is fine and should be okay and I'll distract myself from the pain. I'm not going to get fixed and it'll affect the way I walk and I'll be clopping around the place and I don't want to do that. It's something that we have the responsibility as people, to look after ourselves, to be aware of what we're doing and how it is affecting us, good and bad. Do a stock take. Have a look at how you feel before and after. Is it something that makes you better? Is it something that makes you worse? How can I remove this from my life? How can you get out of it? Stop making it so easy for you to use. That's the first thing. Put it in a different room. Be around people. Put it on airplane mode. Whatever the device is, whatever the thing is that's causing you to act out of alignment with who you can be, do something about it. You know how you work. You know how you'll try and figure out how to get around it. It's those sorts of things, though, that make it crucial because you're working on you. You're trying to be better for you and for those around you. You're trying to be better so you can get where you want to go in life, so you can be exactly who you are meant to be, how successful, how passionate, how clever, how funny, how whatever you can be. So dopamine truly is making you unhappy, but it doesn't have to. Just choose the right dopamine, not the junk food for your brain. High highs, low lows. Feels great in the moment, pulls you further away from your goals. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But you got this, and all you have to do is start. Good luck. If you need anything, hit me up on my website and work with me, and I'd be happy to help you out with that. Check out my links. I hope you're well. Bless you.